Good morning, Year 11. Welcome back to Standard English. I just want to start here at the end of last week. You'll notice all of these docs have been turned white. The reason behind that is if you see a white doc, the expectation is that doc has been done. You'll also notice up here that you should be finishing reading Study in Scarlet by the end of week 4. You have due dates on these cards. We don't normally use due dates, but it's there to put you back into the mentality of doing it. All right, so this week, notice I've brought this pure paragraph down because we have to keep focusing on our writing structure. Haven't seen it? Let it, please do so. So we're still looking at the idea of how narratives are told using technology. This week for lessons 4 and 5, we're going to look at non-fiction text, so real text. So if we open up lesson 4, you have a website on here that looks at the 1920s crime genre in Australia. So for those that don't know, in Sydney in the 1920s, we had a massive crime problem with what's called the razor gangs. But before we get into that, we have to know our terminologies, no cutting and pasting. You need to know these terms: multimedia, multimodal, nonlinear, reading paths, etc. This is the language we're expecting once it comes to assessment tasks and essays, etc. So our 1920s worldview. So you're going to, now that you've got those definitions, look at this website and explain how each of these terms was used for this website. So how is it interactive? How is it multimodal? How is it nonlinear? And what is your reading path? So I'll click on that and I'll talk about that in a second. So let's have a quick look. If this video runs out, I'll make a second one that goes on afterwards as well. All right, so straight away there, the visuals make this interactive. If we scroll around here, we've got lots of headings we can click on. The fact that we can click on any of these to start off with is our reading path. So some of you will start off looking at police, some will start off looking at the crime, some will start off looking at the Roaring Twenties. Someone like myself, older person, will just simply scroll down and read it acrossways. So you need to explain how you went about that. Now, the fact that it had that explosion happening at the beginning really brings it out as a multimodal text, that there's different ways of doing things. All right, so back to the doc. Then, once you've explained those terms, I won't explain them now, I might do it more in a Zoom meeting. You then have to go through, describe what the 1920s crime scene was. Now, the fact that all of us are going to look at this differently, we essentially all should have a different answer to that. Then how has the presentation of this site deepened your understanding of the early crime scene in Sydney? So as a viewer, what role have you played? So really, as a viewer here, that's me right now on the website, I have total control on where I go with. So this is a very modern text, and you as a viewer become in control of the narrative. The information's all there, but how you click on it and how you go about it is you're in control of it. In fact, it's got buy the book here. I've actually read that book, and it takes you through it from someone else's perspective. They choose what information you learn. Now, you read on page 1, that's the author's perspective, page 2, etc. Even though all the same information's here, the fact that you pick and choose where you go, you are in control of creating that narrative. All right, then, using your depth of knowledge questions, that is here. So first of all, do these properly. So you create a question, find your answer, create the next question, find your answer, create the question. So you're building knowledge from last bits of knowledge. So who, what, where, when to start off with. Use the depth of knowledge question to create inquiry questions you would like to research as a result of this site. So what that is saying is this has sparked your information. There's a guy on here called Phil the Jew that I'll talk about in a second. You might have found out information about him. So now you come back here, what did Phil the Jew do as a crime? How did it happen, or why did it happen? Now that I know, so maybe he used his razor blade. Why did he do that? They couldn't have guns and things at the time. Then this idea, what were the reasons behind it? So that goes beyond him. It looks at the idea that there was a poor society and things like that. What's the relationship to happening times? So answer the question, build your response. All right, my time's about to run up, so I'm going to make another video for the next task.